Hello and welcome to the Rising Stars of Comedy. I'm Akriti Tyagi. Our guest for today is trained at the famed Second City and Improv Olympic. He is the pioneer for improv in the country, a member of the famous Shits and Giggles. He was born in India, grew up in the US, and has come back home to test the comedic waters.
My name is Brij Bhakta. Brij Bhakta. Brij Bhakta. Brij Bhakta. I wasn't allowed to date. My parents didn't want me dating because Indian parents pay attention to studies. No women, no girls, nothing. And then magically when I'm 22, they accuse me of being gay because they've never seen me with a girl. Our culture, the Indian culture, it's beautiful. It's one of the oldest cultures in the world. Other cultures steal from it. We gave the world the number 0. We gave the world the game of chess. We gave the world Pakistan. We've contributed so much, you know? But our culture has 0 sex appeal. None whatsoever. I know we came up with the Kama Sutra, but it's a book.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So Brij, as I was saying, you've been trained at the famous Second City and Improv Olympic. What pushed you there?
Well, I started doing improv comedy in high school, and you know, in college I did it as well. And doing it is one thing, but I wanted to learn more and more about it. And Chicago is the place to go to learn improv comedy. And the Improv Olympic is like the institute to learn about improv comedy. It's where some of the best have trained and whatnot. So they have like a 2-year program, and that's where I went to just to learn everything about it, like how to perform, how to write, how to direct, and it was all comedy. Like it wasn't. They had other courses in biology and stuff, and then you could also do comedy. It was just a purely comedy school, and I just wanted to get good at it, you know.
And then how did, you know, coming back to India happen? How did the transition happen?
I've wanted to come to India ever since I was a kid because I wanted to work in, you know, television and film when you're an entertainer. Definitely. And I grew up watching Hindi films and I grew up watching Indian television. So I've always wanted to do that. You know, I love Bollywood as off as it is sometimes. I still love it. Like it's just something about it. And then doing comedy in your own country, it's home, you know, as even though I grew up in the States, India is still home. So I just wanted to come back and do the comedy that I did over there, do it here. And, you know, that's kind of been like a social experiment in itself.
The Italian kid can walk up to a girl and he can say this. He can walk up to her and say, "Do you know in my town there is a hill? And we can sit on top of that hill and drink wine and watch the sunset." That's hot, all right? What am I supposed to say to a girl? What am I, in my town, there is a well. Sometimes it is dry, but in the rainy season it's full, suka, it's avech.
I've often noticed that you keep saying that, you know, this accent is real, it's not a fake put-on accent. Was it ever tough to, did you ever feel like an outsider?
I constantly feel like an outsider, and I think that's part of the job of a comedian is to kind of be the outsider looking in, looking at everyone else. Growing up in the States, I was an outsider because I looked like this. Yeah. I don't look like an American guy, but I sound like an American guy. Yeah. All of my behaviors and everything, they're American. Yeah. And then when I moved here, you'd see me walking down the street and you wouldn't think twice. You'd be like, oh, there's just another random guy.
Of course.
But then as soon as I start talking, people would...
Yeah. What is coming out?
Yeah, the first question would be, why are you talking like that? Yeah. At first, I've never experienced that in my life. I mean, because America, everyone comes from everywhere. There's Chinese people everywhere, so it's never like, oh, why do you sound like that? It's like, oh, you're a foreigner. But here, the first question I always get is, why do you sound like that? And I didn't know how to answer the question. I'm like, it's how I talk. I don't know why. I mean, so you know,
I really thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a question that you don't know really. You don't know how to answer. Like, why do you sound like that? I don't know. This is how I heard talking, and that's why I talk like that. why do you sound like that?
It's a very interesting thing.
Yes.
Karaoke.
Yes.
For people, it's just entertainment, but for you, it's life.
It is art. Yeah, and life, yes.
You've dedicated your whole life
yes.
to karaoke.
Yes.
Why?
Well,
Wait, did you just... Go ahead. Yeah.
Just got the emotional.
Emotional. It's okay. It's okay.
I was, you see, I was a boy of 6 years old in Japan.
The whole country.
Yes. And I was 6 years old in my hometown of Japan, and
What is the name of your town?
what is so funny about that?
Your hometown is Japan.
Well, there's a town in Japan called Japan. You can have a. There can be a New York, but there can't be Japan.
Fair enough.
So there I was in my hometown of Japan.
Okay.
When the comedy scene started up, it was just stand-up.
Okay.
You know, like even sketch wasn't around, and you know, everyone wanted stand-up, and they knew stand-up, and they had gotten comfortable with it. So when we started doing improv, the first and foremost thing that happened was people didn't believe us that we were making everything up on the spot. I remember after one of our shows, I was in the bathroom during the break, and this guy was on the phone, and he was telling his friend, like he had enjoyed the show,
Okay.
but he was telling his friend, like, nee, kuch alag sa stand-up tha. And he called it stand-up, you know? So that's been a hurdle for us ever since we started doing improv,
Yes.
but, you know, it's working. People are liking it,
Yeah.
you know, and it's from here. It's just going to get bigger and bigger. Other groups are starting to do improv as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's becoming common.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we need. We need people to think of, when they think of comedy, they don't just think of stand-up. They think of stand-up, improv, sketch. You know, even theater, like just regular plays that are comedy. And you know, right now is the right time. Like comedy is becoming bigger and bigger. So right now, we're just trying to get that improv footprint in.
Now, your book specifically talks about why India is the next superpower in wine. Now, do you think that India can compete against France and Italy?
Well, it's tough because India has a long way to go with the... Why are you doing this? What's wrong with you, man? Are you gonna let me answer the question? What is wrong with you, man? Listen, I'm gonna leave. I'm serious, I'm gonna go. Shit!
Oh, well, that's... Ladies and gentlemen, Kameshwar's back. What do you exactly... No, you see, you can't do this to me on my phone.
You can't do it to me.